I'm Ruby Rowe, the virtual presenter for Aegis AI Lab. The insights shared here are developed by Firas Omar, an educator and Cisco-recognized instructor. This presentation uses an AI-generated avatar for clarity, because clarity matters when discussing systems that influence decisions, workflows, and outcomes in the real world, especially when those systems are increasingly trusted without being fully understood. I shared 10 common AI mistakes. What surprised people most was this. They all come from the same misunderstanding. Not bad prompts, not weak tools, not careless users. This distinction matters because it reframes the conversation away from blaming individuals and toward examining assumptions we make about intelligent systems. Artificial intelligence does not understand goals, truth, or context. It predicts language. That's it. This limitation is not accidental. It reflects how these systems are built, trained, and optimized. Misunderstanding that design creates expectations the technology was never meant to meet. When people hear this, they often push back. They say, but it sounds confident. Or, but it answered correctly before. Or, but it feels like it understands. That feeling is the misunderstanding. Humans are wired to associate confidence with competence, even when confidence is produced mechanically. Artificial intelligence doesn't know what you want. It doesn't know what matters. It doesn't know what's true. It only knows what words are likely to come next based on patterns it has seen before. Those patterns are statistical, not experiential. They measure frequency and correlation, but never understanding and never intent. This is why automation multiplies errors. Once people trust the output, they stop checking it. They assume intention where there is none. They assume understanding where there is only probability. Over time, those assumptions compound, and small inaccuracies become embedded inside processes and decisions. If an AI generates a report, an email, or a summary that sounds right, people move on. They don't ask. What assumptions were made? They don't ask. What data was missing? They don't ask. What the system didn't understand? This is how risk spreads quietly, not through dramatic failure, but through routine acceptance. Verification gets skipped not because people are lazy, but because the output feels complete. Confidence creates closure. Closure reduces scrutiny, and reduced scrutiny allows errors to persist long enough to feel normal. This same dynamic is exactly what threat actors exploit. In the past, a phishing attempt meant one poorly written email sent to one person, hoping someone would miss the mistake. Today, that model no longer applies. With artificial intelligence, a single attacker can generate thousands of messages, each slightly different, each tuned to context, each written with professional tone, proper grammar, and convincing intent. The risk doesn't just scale, the accuracy improves. Messages are no longer obviously wrong. They are familiar. They sound like leadership. They reference real projects. They mirror writing styles. What used to be one misworded phishing email to one employee becomes a highly targeted message to an entire organization. And that change happens quietly. The system does not know who is using it or why. It only responds to structure and input. This is also why prompts feel random. One day, the answer looks perfect. The next day, it's completely wrong. People think I must have worded it badly, but the wording was never the problem. The system responded logically to incomplete structure, not incorrect language. The real issue is that the system was never given a role to play, boundaries to respect, or a mission to complete. Without those constraints, AI fills gaps using likelihood, not judgment, and confidence, not understanding. When artificial intelligence doesn't understand the role it's playing, the boundaries of the input, or the mission of the output, it fills the gaps with probability, confidently. That confidence is dangerous, not because the system is malicious, but because it is convincing. And convincing outputs lower human guardrails. They encourage speed over reflection, and trust over verification, especially in professional settings where time is limited. Once you see this clearly, the mistakes stop looking random. Automation errors, verification failures, inconsistent answers. They're not separate problems. They're symptoms of the same root cause. AI isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. The misunderstanding is on our side. This is the first episode in a 3-part series on why artificial intelligence fails quietly in real environments. In the next episode, we'll look at why even well-intentioned users still struggle with prompts and why better wording doesn't fix structural problems. This is part 1 of a short series on why AI fails quietly in real environments. Once this clicks, everything else starts to make sense.